So today I stopped by the Amish and I got 4 boxes of tomatoes, and I'm very excited to can them. I'm going to can just whole tomatoes. I want to make some pizza sauce, some spaghetti sauce, some homemade ketchup. So tonight, though, I'm only making canning the whole tomatoes. So get the equipment cleaned up, get my tomatoes washed and prepared. I love canning at night. There's no one else but me now. My kids are grown, but it used to be when the kids were in bed, it was my quiet time, and I could can and think about my day or prepare for the next day, and it's just a mental break for me. A lot of things are that way for me. Sewing, cleaning, canning, the mundane things are the things that I like to do to just give my soul a break. So I'm canning these whole tomatoes. You start by putting them in the boiling water for 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and the skin will start becoming loose on them. So once they've been in this boiling water, you're going to take them out and put them in an ice bath. It's amazing how quick they peel. It's so satisfying. Put them in the ice, and as they set in that ice, it stops the cooking of the tomato, but it starts to break down that skin on them. So satisfying. So once you get all of the ones out, you don't want to leave them past 3 minutes. They'll start to get mushy. And then you can just start pulling off the skin so easily. I mean, you could do this if you just had a tomatoes that you wanted to make in salsa and you don't want the skin on them, or anything that you're making and you don't want the skins on the tomatoes. This is how you just peel them very easily. And you save the skins because you can put the skins in the dehydrator and make a powder, tomato powder, and use that powder in soups, or if you need a quick tomato paste, you can take this powder and mix it with a little water and have a tomato paste to put in your spaghetti or whatever it is that you're going to cook that calls for tomato paste. So don't throw away your tomato skins. Dry them, grind them, put them in a dry place, jar of some sort, and use them to make tomato paste, or just add the powder to some soup if you don't want to add tomatoes. Look how easy that skin comes off. So satisfying. It's my favorite part. When I was a little girl, my grandma used to can all of our food. We never really went to the grocery store. I don't remember that for things like sugar, flour, some meats, but we had a lot of wild game that we ate. And my grandmother had this huge garden, and she would can all of our food. And I helped her. We always had lots of tomatoes, lots of green beans, pickles, um, jellies, jams, and that was what we ate all year. So my grandmother would can hundreds of jars of tomatoes. So once you get all of the peels off, of the tomatoes. You're going to set them aside, and then you're going to core them. You're going to take out the center part of the hard core. If you have chickens, it's their favorite part. I don't have chickens anymore, so mine goes down the garbage disposal. After you get those all done, then you start putting them in the jars. I usually use wide mouth jars for tomatoes, but I just happen to have several boxes of these smaller mouth, and I'm going to use them. I have them, why not? So you're going to stuff the tomatoes into your jar, and you want to really push them down to make sure that you pack that jar tight and get all of the air bubbles out. You can run a knife down through the side and the air bubbles will come up. You always keep a pot of boiling water so you can put, add to the top off the tomatoes if you don't have enough liquid in them. These were pretty juicy tomatoes. I didn't need to do that. Then you're going to put a tablespoon of salt on top of the jars. Once they're filled, you don't want to stir it. You just want to let it sink down. That kind of helps. Even though tomatoes are pretty acidy and you can water bath them, the salt does help preserve them. Then you put them in your canner. You cover it with 1 inch of water, and voila, canned tomatoes. An hour and a half later, you let them cook for an hour and a half. After they start boiling, you start the timer. And as they cool, the lids will suck down and be very tight. You don't want them popping up and down. You just want them sucked down, sealed, and you have beautiful tomatoes that will last for quite a while. Perfect. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you get to can some tomatoes at some point in your life because it's the most satisfying thing.